and welcome in to the Rewind Sports Network. Orem football here at Spanish Fork for week 5 of the high school football season. I'm Trevor Allen alongside the coach Dave Harrison. And Dave, as sad as it is, we're already halfway through the football season, but we have a Region 7 battle here tonight.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast the season actually goes, especially when you're a coach or you're a player on the field. You work and work and work. You know, football's a practice sport. And then once games start, man, it rolls quick. And Region 7's a pretty good region. Springville got knocked off their first loss last week to Orem. I expect Orem will have a little bit of advantage here tonight. They've got some super fantastic football players on this team.
And it looks like Orem is going to kick off here. They're wearing the white uniforms with the blue pants and helmets, with Spanish Fork in the home uniforms, and they will receive the kick. And so Spanish Fork coming off of a loss last week.
15-14 against Wasatch. Yeah.
Wasatch is off to a decent start.
Yeah, and you know, Spanish Fork played a really good first 3 quarters and then lost it there at the end on that field goal. And, you know, they get their hands full tonight, Spanish Fork does, against this Orem team. Orem comes in 2-2, couple of tough losses. Obviously, Lone Peak's one of the top teams in the state, and then they lost one to Rocky Mountain, Idaho.
And we are underway here. And I believe that's number 11.
Houston Farnsworth.
Houston Farnsworth, the junior returner, and he will get that up to about the 26-yard line, and we'll get a look at Spanish Fork's offense led by quarterback Nixon Warren, the junior. On the year for Nixon, he is 55 of 112 for 668 yards, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks.
Be interested to see how Coach Smith comes out to start this game. This Orem team's loaded. Historically, you see a lot of cover 3 out of Orem, a lot of pressure.
And the handoff. We'll try and get the numbers. We're a little bit farther back here up in the box. That's number 7. That's Jordan Bennell.
That's a hardcore run, just straight downhill. Little trap action on the guard pulling left. And, you know, Spanish Fork, they're going to want to try and burn as much time off this clock as they can when they're on offense, because this Orem offense, when they're on the field, they're tough to stop. So, and
that's actually one of the things Orem has struggled with is their offense this year, but it's also been health. They finally got Kawe Akana back last week against Springville, which is a big weapon.
Yeah, he's a fantastic quarterback. He's got a good arm. Been getting the ball out on time. Of course, it's going to take him a game or two to kind of get in the rhythm, whereas he's been out. And Spanish Fork looks like they jumped offside, so they negate the 5 yards they got on first down, which can't really play behind the sticks against this Orem defense.
So brings up 2nd and 10 now at the 32-yard line. Or it says 32, it's not the 32. But the lefty, Warren, he'll go up into the pocket. Almost brought down, and this time he is brought down. And that is number 8 for Orem.
Jaggy Ione.
Yeah, he's ranked in the top half of the 24/7 sports recruiting rankings for next season.
And you know, Coach Smith, a good friend of mine, I've known him for years and years. He thinks that Orem's got 6 or 7 D1 players on this football team, and
absolutely do.
And they always do. All the years we played against them, seemed like there was always somebody that was a top 5 recruit in the state on their team.
It also helps to get a transfer in from Timview and Isa Naliai, who's committed to play at Utah. And the back judge throws a flag, and it looks like delay of game. Yep, play clock's at 0, so that'll back up another 5 yards.
Ooh.
So that'll back him up, I believe, to the 15-yard line. And, you know, chatting with Coach Smith earlier in the week, he said that this is his youngest and most inexperienced roster he's had here at Spanish Fork.
It's kind of the payoff that you have when you have a really great senior loaded team like he had last year that made it to the finals, and you come into a year like this, guys don't have a lot of experience.
Nixon's going to roll out. He gets to the 20, out of bounds at the 25-yard line. He actually escaped a potential sack by Judy Mawala, who leads the entire state in sacks with 9.
Man, they've always got good pass rushers on this Orem defense. Good job that time by Warren to get outside of the pocket, pick up something. I mean, they were second or third and 20, so 4th and 9, they're going to have to punt. It looks like they're punting directly into the wind.
Getting some presents up here, Coach. Probably shouldn't be handing out the popcorn to you while we're on the broadcast. I might have to call this game alone. And then the fair catch, not the fair catch. That was number 26, Beckham Curtis on the return, but probably should have called a fair catch on that.
Yeah, especially as an offensive coordinator, the most important thing on punt return is possess the ball. Call for a fair catch and catch the ball. You don't want anything to take the ball away from your offense. You've been standing out there on the sideline waiting to get your guys in. So Orem.
Taden Kaava is out here at quarterback, the Alabama commit, along with Callaway Akana, who's only making a second appearance at wide receiver this season, the BYU commit. And here's Kaava in the gun. Play action. He'll look downfield, rolls and then throws it out of bounds. It was in the area, I believe, of Mac Ellison, but it falls incomplete. Second down coming up.
He kind of had a double post concept there, and the safety was in no man's land. He had 2 guys open, just not quite enough time to get the ball out. Orem likes to put the ball up on the outside, and when you've got guys like they do, it really puts a lot of pressure on a defense. You've got to cover those outside guys, double team. Hopefully you get a safety over the top, but once you do that, somebody else is going to be open.
Taden Kaava has already thrown for 849 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 3 picks this season. He'll hand off to Curtis. He'll get up to the 50, and he's breaking loose to the 40, down to the 30. They might not catch him, down to the 10, and he's tackled out about almost into the end zone. Do they call it? Into the end zone, touchdown!
Beautiful blocks that time. They ran power right. They pulled the left guard, led with the fullback. Everybody picked up their assignment. That's a nice start offensively for Orem.
I thought they were going to tackle him right out of bounds, right at about the 2-yard line, and instead they rolled him into the end zone.
Yeah, that's what happens when you do squats in the offseason. You can run guys into the end zone that typically you're not going to get.
Coach is always getting his players to do squats in the offseason, huh?
Squats in the offseason.
And the kick is up by number 82. I think his name's Ben Bradley.
Yep, Ben Bradley, 5'9" senior.
Bradley with the extra point, good. Orem 7 on.
So, with 9:32 to go here in the first quarter, Orem off to a 7-0 lead here on the Rewind Sports Network. Both teams have had the ball at least once, and Orem is in the end zone on a big run by Beckham Curtis. And it's 7-0 here in a Region 7 battle on the Rewind Sports Network. Trey Brown, Dave Harrison with you. And Dave, as we go to kickoff here, Spanish Fork had some decent plays on their first drive, but penalties really hurt them.
Yeah, 3 penalties really hurt. See if they can't possess the ball a little bit longer this next drive.
And now it breaks out all the way to the 30 and out of bounds. They're going to mark him down at the. See where the official goes.
Colin Frost again for return.
Oh, they're calling him out.
Colin Frost.
25-yard line.
Really nice job by the Spanish Fork special teams sealing that edge, and nice return. Looked like he must have stepped out of bounds a little bit sooner than we thought he did. We'll see if Spanish Fork can establish something on the ground.
Houston Farnsworth on that return. So that brings out Nixon Warren, the quarterback. Once again, Jordan Bonnell behind him. Oh, now he goes into the gun, and Bonnell is to his left. He'll take the snap and hand off to Bonnell. And he'll get maybe, he got a little bit of an extra push there, maybe 3 yards on first down.
Yeah, not a bad start. Third down, or first down, picking up 3 or 4 yards. They did this the last series, but then they stuck themselves with a couple of penalties and put them behind the stick. So we'll see if they can continue to pick up 3 and 4 yard gains on the ground.
So they give him, let's see, there we go, 4 yards. Scoreboard's a little bit behind. Handoff to Bunnell again. He hops over a defender and is able to get to the 30-yard line.
Another nice pick up there. It looked like he might have had a little room to bounce it out to the right side, but that defensive line for Orem is tough to run against. Spanish Fork so far, a couple of nice runs, three positive gains on the ground so far. Just running a little power action and then a trap.
Someone to watch for on that defensive line, as mentioned before, Judy Mawala, the BYU commit, had 6 sacks in the season opener and has only had 3 since, and I say only 3, but so he has 9 sacks on the season. He's right there on the right edge, and on cue, he wasn't the first one to initiate contact. That was number 4, MJ Bateman, the junior.
Isaac Vaea came on a blitz. Pretty good job of stepping up, picking up the blitzer. Maybe needs to step a little harder forward because he was coming hard. Pushed him right back into the quarterback's lap. Really nowhere to go there.
And another 3 and out here for the Spanish Fork offense.
But just a handful of these Spanish Fork kids have really seen any varsity time before this year, and so
almost blocked, but able to get the punt away. A nice kick there. And it gets a nice roll for Spanish Fork to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, about a 45-yard kick there. 35, 40-yard kick.
Not bad for almost getting blocked.
Yeah, and into the wind.
Talking to Coach Reynolds prior to the game, he was telling me that, you know, his defense was what he was really excited to see this season. Compared to last year, it's a huge upgrade because they've got a lot of guys. But also, you know, of what he wanted to see is his offense being able to execute more. He feels like that's kind of been their issue, especially last week against Springville. But he said that they didn't really have a problem when they went up to Idaho.
Yeah, that Idaho game is probably a game they felt like they should have won.
And that is to the outside, number 18 to the 50, down to the 40-yard line. He's pushed out of bounds.
Max Stonebreaker.
Not just receiver, but running back. And Stonebreaker's been one of the top weapons for this Orem offense.
Yeah, they're loaded. They've got guys, they can go deep. They've got guys that catch the ball across the middle, and their run game, as we've seen already tonight, looks really good.
The running game has looked strong so far for this Orem offense. Here's Kava in the gun. He'll drop back. He's looking.
Got the over route.
And just throws it just below Kai Wesley, the Baylor commit.
Kai Wesley, super athletic, played basketball, physical basketball player, had a great season last year in football, and he's such a weapon.
I actually had to prepare for Kai Wesley as a basketball coach.
Oh, when you were at West, yeah.
Yeah, it is a hard team to play. Coach DeVita does a great job with that program, as does Coach Reynolds with Orem football. Now it hands off to Stonebreaker. He gets to about the 38-yard line, maybe 37-yard line, and brings up 3rd down.
Orem that time pulled Noah Seofale. So the right guard, he just pulled around that edge, so it's kind of a pin and pull look.
So 3rd and 7. The first 3rd down of the game here that Orem will face.
Really light box here, 5 men. They're dropping back in coverage.
He went to Kawe Akana, but nice break up there. Trying to get his number. The numbers are not broadcaster friendly. Let's just say that. No.
So Jackson Beckstead, I think, made that play as he dislodged the ball.
Because I'm going to tell you, the numbers blend in too much with the uniforms. It's not broadcaster friendly.
We'll have to talk to Coach
really
Smith about that. Yeah, they look sharp for sure.
Well, I try and give those kids props when it arises, but it's hard. On 4th down, they're going for it. This one caught by Stonebreaker, and he gets the first down, and then some, as he's marked down at the 27-yard line.
Just a little dig route from the slot receiver. Basically the same play they just ran. The difference is Stonebridge holds on to it.
First down and 10, 27.
That time, Spanish Fork brought a corner blitz from this bottom side. You could see the linebacker had widened way out, so it was kind of a giveaway.
Now here's Kai Wesley, tackled down. Good route there, and now they enter the red zone.
Good job by Cave to get the ball out on time, which is, to me, as an offensive coordinator, that was always the biggest thing that you're telling your quarterback is on time, on time, on time. And he looked good there, everything in rhythm and threatening again, Orem is.
First and goal. And he, on the option, just keeps it. And he'll get down to the 3, to the 2, and maybe mark him at the 1 is Taden Kava, as he faked the pitch on the option and kept it, and was able to gain ground up the middle, and he's a little slow to get up.
It's a little speed option, reading this bottom side end. Nice little fake there.
Looks like he's going to have to come out of the game, either because his helmet came off or he's hurt. So they bring in number 9, the quarterback. That's all over Bill, is he's a running back, so basically a wildcat. And they'll hand it off to the big fella, number 44. That is Easton Kojima, who normally plays linebacker. He's into the end zone for a touchdown.
Full house backfield that time, just again, lead. And this Orem offensive line's dominating already tonight.
And a really young offensive line, by the way. Last year, 2 freshmen at tackles. And now they're obviously sophomores, but both those sophomores played basketball. Those guys are beasts. On the football field and on the basketball court.
Yeah, Orem seems to reload with bigs every year.
I asked Coach Reynolds what's in the water where those 2 tackles are freshmen, and he didn't have an answer for me. And the PAT is good, so 2 drives, 2 touchdowns for Orem. We'll be back after this here on the Rewind Sports Network.
With a TabSpend checking account, you earn big rewards. It's hard to not make a scene.
Cash or card?
Oh, my card's right here.
That's a big card.
You should see how much it's earned me. Sorry, Grandma. TabSpend isn't just another checking account. It's packed with benefits.
How do I get one?
Just scan this QR code or go to tabbank.com. It's all online and super easy to get started.
Welcome back, 14-0 Orem here at Spanish Fork for Region 7 action. Trevor Allen, Dave Harrison here with you. And Dave, two drives on offense for Orem and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, they look tough to beat. And, you know, talking to Coach Smith before the game, they've only got 64 kids total in their program. They don't have a sophomore team, a lot of kids that haven't played. And so he understands that sometimes you have to go through some bumpy roads before you figure out a way to win. And games like this give kids experience. They're playing against, D1 talent kids all the way across the board. And it teaches you that you can play with kids like this. And you may not win, you may not be real successful, but it kind of takes the fear factor out of it once you face teams like this as a youngster.
It's really all about a way to build up your program. I mean, going to the state championship last year when, not a lot of people really expected it, but that was a very senior-heavy team. And just like at the high school level, whenever you lose a bunch of seniors, you got to start somewhere, and you got to build with the underclassmen, and they just have to go through growing pains.
It's somebody will step up. You'll find the kids that are going to step in when you don't have the numbers necessarily that you need to fill a full scout team in practice, and it makes it a little tough. But these kids will grow from this. They'll learn. They'll take the successes they have and build on that.
2nd and 10 here for the Dons. Warren takes the snap, looks to the outside, and a flag is thrown. I thought that was a pretty good call. Number 22, that was Dylan Dye holding the wide receiver for Jackson Cloward, and that's should
be a first down.
Yeah, It might
It looked like
but
they just kind of got caught up together. It didn't necessarily look like he was holding him, but anytime there's contact and a little bit bumped off his route in the open field, you're going to get that call. So Spanish Fort gets their first down.
And they call pass interference. And Dylan Dye is a very solid linebacker for Orem. He's a tackling machine. I remember last year calling a ton of Orem games, and I'd be calling his name a lot.
Yeah.
And the handoff. Gain of about 2 yards on first down. We'll get up to about the 37-yard line for Spanish Fork with 5:22 to go here in the first quarter.
Really not a lot there. I mean, he's running hard, he's falling forward, but Spanish Fork's got to double team these D linemen for Orem, and it frees up these linebackers to make plays.
Well, and just look at the size of the Orem defensive line compared to the offensive line for Spanish Fork. You can just tell. But it's also a really young offensive line, so in due time, having varsity experience like this is going to bode well for them for years to come. As Warren changes the play call. And he'll drop back, roll out. He's looking downfield, and he throws it out of bounds. Live to play another down.
Good job to get outside of the pocket there. He had outside linebacker blitz on both sides, and getting out of there without taking a sack is pretty good athletic play there. It's smart, throw it out of bounds. Live to play another down.
So 3rd down and 8 at the 37-yard line for Spanish Fork. Trying to avoid having to punt on another possession. They've already gone 3 and out on their first 2 drives. They've at least gotten a first down on this one. Warren in the gun. He'll roll out to his left. He's looking again as Junie Mawala gets to him. And I'll tell you what, I would not want to see Junie Mawala one-on-one in an alley.
That is a big boy right there. Another, that type, they designed the play to roll out. It's tough to roll out against the guy that gets upfield as hard as Mawala does. And especially, it's hard to get your eyes downfield when you've got somebody that big right in your face. And good job just to get the ball out.
I can tell you what, BYU fans are going to be really excited about Junie Mawala, just seeing how he's playing right now. But the one story about him, he originally committed to Oregon and then flipped his commitment and decided to go play for Kalani Sitake and the BYU Cougars just down the road.
Well, Kalani's done a great job picking up the top kids in the state of Utah the last few years.
Both Kyle Whittingham and Kalani have, for the last, about 5 years ago, when I was covering the youths, that was a big problem that Kyle Whittingham was saying, is trying to keep all the in-state kids to stay in-state. They would go to Oregon or all these other programs outside of the state. But now with what they're doing, I think since NIL kind of really geared up and all that, I think it's really helped them secure the top talent here in the state of Utah. Plus, they're also 2 great coaches.
Yeah, they are. Both of them are fantastic.
Here's Kava. He'll drop back. He'll look. And he's got Mac Ellison. He'll get to the 50. I don't think they're going to catch him. He's to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, and he's gone. Touchdown, Orem.
3 vertical routes on the inside. 3 receivers. Ran a little dig route behind that. Kind of cleared it out. He caught it in stride and didn't break stride until he got to the end zone.
72-yard touchdown for Orem. And 3 offensive possessions, 3 touchdowns now here for Orem.
Good throw there, too, Kava. Got the ball out on time, hit him in stride. After that first drive, he had a couple of balls that first drive that were maybe a little behind the receiver, but he looks like he's in a rhythm now. And boy, these guys get rolling. They're going to be tough.
Coach, when you were calling plays, how often would you try and rely on that slant route? Because when they're in man coverage, it's hard to guard.
I love the slant route. I love it. A lot of times when you get a team that plays a lot of cover 3 and they drop those corners right off the snap, that's wide open right there. Slant route's really difficult to cover. Unless you're the Green Bay Packers last night. Washington couldn't run a slant at all.
Washington had a couple of those slant routes that did not go their way, but again, that's why you play in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different at the high school level.
Well, and you get a guy that can make a move and get open off a slant route. It makes all the difference in the world, but those defenders, at least it looks to me like Spanish Fork's just kind of dropping a little bit and giving a free release. And, man, you get a free release on a slant route, it's easy money.
And then I wasn't able to see what the breakdown was in the back, how he was able to get open. Did they drop a safety?
They dropped it. Well, so they ran three seam routes, essentially 3 go routes, and everybody just dropped, and he filled the void right behind that outside receiver. Caught it on the hash.
And that's why Coach Harrison is here with me to break all that down.
Yeah, that's a tough route combo. If your quarterback's got time to throw the ball and you can get 3 verticals going, it's really tough to cover that intermediate area because you're either covering short or you're covering long. A lot of times that intermediate area behind those linebackers is going to be open, and if you've got safeties dropping hard because of those go routes, you can make a living in those intermediate routes.
Definitely. We'll see what Spanish Fork can do here. They've had to punt on their first 3 possessions. With 4:14 to go here in the first quarter, Orem with a 21-0 lead. Orem already scored more points in the first quarter of this game than they did the entire game against Springville.
Another good run that time by Spanish Fork, just kind of taking what's there. And really, 4-yard rush against this defensive line. Spanish Fork should feel pretty good about that.
Well, not only that, but is your plan, if you're an offensive coordinator or the head coach and you have Junie Mawala on the edge there, are you sending a tackle and a guard over to him, or maybe bring a tight end?
Yeah, you want to chip him, double team him, or leave him alone and read him.
Warren, go hand off again. I believe Bunnell's on the run.
Now that time it's a power, so they pull the right guard and they lead with they follow the guard with the fullback who's supposed to get up inside and go pick up that linebacker, but Moala just shut that down. He just crushed that first block. There was nowhere to go. Yeah, that's a tough ask to kick him out.
It's not a job I want.
No.
3rd and 6 here at the 25-yard line for Spanish Fork. They have not converted a 3rd down yet. And it looks like they're sending a blitz. Warren finds that slant route. There it is. He's getting up to the field to the 50 and out of bounds. What a play there by Gage Christensen. And right on that slant route.
Yeah, really good job that time. Set him up. A little inside, outside, inside move. Got the DB on his heels. Linebacker blitz. There was nobody in that void, and a good throw and catch that time for Spanish Fork. So their biggest play of the night.
It's definitely a play you probably need when you're down 21-0.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like there's not a lot of life there. You need something to kind of give you a shot in the arm.
Yeah, that's a nice play call against that
Warren now
defense.
To the flat to Christensen again.
Ooh.
And he's able to evade one tackle. Is able to shed Zeki Vea.
Mason Snow does a nice job that time on the block on the outside. The problem is you've got you're thrown to the short side and you've got that outside or that linebacker who's got nobody on him. And so he reads that quarterback turns and throws. And if you don't have somebody to come out and at least disrupt him or make him move off of that line, that's a tough ask for a receiver.
To give you an idea of the defense Spanish Fork is facing, Kawe Akana plays a little bit of defense. He's going to BYU, as that is to great coverage right there by number 21.
But that again,
Brock Hawkins.
That time both quarters dropped, so that void is there. The ball's on time. Just a little bit better play by the defender.
So you've got Mawala, Junie Mawala, BYU commit. You've got Isaac Vea, who is getting offers from Boise State, UNLV for next season. You've got Kawe Akana, BYU commit. Isa Naliai playing safety. He's a Utah commit.
It's a lot of fun watching these kids play at this age when you project them to be college football players.
Seeing them on Saturdays one day as Warren has no choice but to throw that away.
The Spanish Fork crowd cheers as he throws it into the kicking net on the fly.
Should give him some points for that.
You know, as hard as these defensive ends are getting up the field, a little bit quarterback draw, it's underneath that DN there might be something there. Of course, then you got to deal with the linebackers, but those DNs are getting up hard, so you might either try and run it up underneath there or pull a draw action.
They end up doing that. I'm going to tell Coach Smith, you got the wrong headset on, my friend. Here on 4th down.
Oh.
And he's swallowed up. And there's a penalty. Oh.
And you know, that's kind of something that's plagued Orem.
Motif.
Our penalties, right? They're not necessarily plays the other team are making it, but they're making mistakes and you know, I think they're going to call a face mask, but they kind of just gave Spanish Fork another first down.
Yeah, they did. Unless it was after the play, which it was not.
You know, Spanish Fork, they gave him time that play. He had time. He stepped up nicely in the pocket, and there was nobody there. I mean, you know, they looked to me like they're in what we used to call cover 3 kick, where they sit one corner and then drop safety, and the other corner to the other 3 deep slots, and they just didn't have anybody open against that D.
Exactly. Here's Warren. Here on 1st down. Rolls back to his right. He's having to shed some guys, and he's going to be swallowed up deep in the backfield at about the 43-yard line. I believe that's number 8. His jersey scrunch, that's Jagione.
Number 8, Jagione.
That's just your young quarterback not understanding, look, I've got no chance to make a play. Get the ball out somewhere, somehow. But sometimes it's
another down.
Sometimes it's you're dropping back, and instead of trying to reverse pivot out of it and get outside of those guys, you have to understand they're such good athletes that your best bet is just north and south and take what you can get.
Yeah. 59 seconds and counting here in the first quarter. Spanish Fork, 1st and 22 now. Or excuse me, 2nd and 22.
Holy cow.
Warren having to get out again. Doesn't have a lot of time in the pocket, and he throws by Christensen on the sideline. Stays in bounds, and he's able to gain some yards. And he's probably back to the original line of scrimmage, but still, what a play.
Yeah, fantastic play. A great job keeping his eyes downfield. And Gage Christensen makes an acrobatic play between 2 defenders. Come down with that. Gives him a chance now, 3rd and 7. And, you know, that time Orem brought 5. So they've shown a couple of different blitzes. They brought both outside linebackers when they've got that 3-man front. And they've come inside once or twice. So now they're pressed on the outside.
3rd and 8. Warren was trying to get to that halfback screen to Bunnell, and
fantastic play call. The whole defensive line. There were 5 blockers for 1 defender for Orem, but just unable to complete the pass. Good play call there. And that's another thing you've got to do against a defense like this. You've got to have some counters, use their aggressiveness against them, right? You get them upfield, go underneath them. Just unable to complete that.
Try and catch Orem, because right now they're in that mode where there's a lot of plays to be had, and maybe get a little over aggressive.
I'd go on 2 here. Oh, yep.
Mawala getting a little antsy there on the line.
And that's another thing, you know. Coach feels like 100 games against Orem, and sometimes you can get them to jump. You know, sometimes that discipline, they've got those ears pinned back. They're looking to go get that quarterback. They know they're going to probably throw the ball. Just unable to hold their water there. We'll see if they go on 2 again. I don't know.
So 4th and 8 turns to 4th and 3.
Yeah, much more manageable.
And the ball is at the 22-yard line in Orem territory. Warren, he's got it back to his left.
Showing blitz, but I think they might drop back out of that.
They're at least showing. Yeah, and one back goes, and then he comes back up to the line. Showing blitz, and it looks like there is a blitz.
Oh.
Moala misses him, now he cuts back up inside, he throws it deep, and he had a man, caught it, but then it falls incomplete, and it's a turnover on downs. Unless there's a flag. Oh,
got another penalty flag.
Probably maybe roughing the passer.
Well, I
wasn't
could be.
looking after he threw it.
I was looking downfield too, but it looks like it's going to go against Spanish
I
Fort.
think that was intended for either Rhythm Fagan or Gage Christensen.
It was Gage Christensen again.
It was. So penalties on Spanish Fork's first drive was hurting them. Now it's helping them.
Yeah. You know, it's a fine line as a coach to get your kids not to hit late and not do some of these things, because you don't want to take that aggressiveness away from them. And you know, I've seen different philosophies from different coaches, and some of them are like, you know what, it's worth it. We're going to go after the guy, and if we get a couple of flags, so be it. And then there are other coaches that will really pull their guys back and get after them hard if they commit penalties like that. Orem obviously takes the aggressive approach.
We might have a ejection. Both coaches, Coach Smith and Coach Reynolds, are meeting with the officials. You know what that means.
Yeah, somebody said one of those words.
Someone said a bad word. That means he's going to be ejected and serve a 2-game suspension.
You know, I watched the evolution I started coaching high school football in 2007. So for 17 years, you see the evolution of the late hits, of the helmet to helmet, of defenseless players, and now there's words that you can't say, and it's, you know, it's some communities, these kids say that. They say those words all of the time, and so to get them to stop saying those things in the middle of a competition, you know, it starts from day one. You've got to just really emphasize that.
Well, the officials didn't say anyone was ejected, so I think we're okay.
Maybe it was a warning.
It must have been a warning and just said officials timeout. There's 11 seconds on the clock here in the first quarter. So maybe it's just hey, go talk to your guys, tell them to watch their mouths, because for this year, the UHSAA has a zero tolerance policy.
Yeah. Well, good for the officials, right? That they didn't just toss a kid. I mean, these are high school kids, 14, 15, 16, 17. You know, they're still developing. They're still maturing. You got to give them a chance to learn from their mistakes. And so I like that they didn't call a flag, call a penalty, or kick anybody out there.
So 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. Here's Warren. Play action. Goes to Christensen. Almost caught it again. He had it bobbled once, but couldn't haul it in.
Well, he ran a play action, and there was nobody on their running back. He could have walked into the end zone.
Brock Hawkins was on the coverage there for Orem.
You know, they really like going to Gage Christensen. He's made a really great, nice play on the sideline.
He's had two pretty good plays.
Yeah, and whereas he's always to the quarterback's left, I think with being a left-handed quarterback, the ball's going to, your tendency when you get pressure is to run to your strong side, your throwing side.
Warren, he'll hand it off.
Little different look that time. The first down play, Orem was sitting in a cover 2. That time they were in a cover 1 man, added a safety down into the box. So
that is the end of the first quarter. Orem with a 21-0 lead. We'll be back for the second quarter after this here on the Rewind Sports Network. Welcome back. Second quarter about to begin. Chasing into the field with Spanish Fort knocking on the doorstep of at the end zone. 3rd and goal, or 3rd and 8. Basically, you can get to the 1 and get a first down without having to get in the end zone. Here's Warren. I believe he's got Bunnell to his right. Again, the numbers are not great for broadcasters up here on top of the press box. Warren throws, and it was intended for Mason Snow.
Number 12, Mason.
He didn't have any time.
But it was double coverage, too.
And he didn't have any room. I mean, he tried to step into that. Got drilled.
All right, so do you agree with them going for 3 here, just try to get some points?
You know, I do. We one time played a game against Bingham. Bingham was on I don't know, like 8 or 10 or 12 quarters where they hadn't given up any points. And they were up 38-0. And our coach wanted to go for it on 4th and whatever. And it made a difference to get those 3 points and stop that shutout streak. So points against this defense, however they get them, I think that's a positive.
That kick is up, and it is good. That was Preston Jones. And that's a 25-yard field goal that gets Spanish Fork on the board. So as you said, Coach, gives them a little bit of confidence knowing that they're able to get on the field. Yeah, Orem didn't help matters as far as some very costly penalties, a couple of 15-yarders.
Yeah, but something for Spanish Fork to kind of build on, and they're not going to go back and say, oh, Orem just gave us that drive with 30 yards or 50 yards of penalties, whatever it was. Yeah. They're going to say, look, we made some plays, we got down the field, we got points on the board. Now let's see if we can go try and slow this Orem run game down, or pass game. I mean, both.
Now, talking about Coach Smith and the Spanish Fork program, obviously going to the state championship last year, coming in with the younger team, but how hard is it to, as a coach, to have to lower some of your standards, some of the expectations?
I think not necessarily standards. I think your standards stay the same, but your expectations, you just have to be realistic. And these kids aren't stupid. They know, how good these teams are they're playing, and you find something to build on, right? We had a season after the Corner Canyon Alta split, the first year at Alta after that split, and we had 9 sophomores that started, and we did make the playoffs, but we went up to Bellevue and played. They were 55 straight wins, 4-time state champs up there, ranked 3rd or 4th in the country, and our kids had some success up there. We lost, we got beat pretty bad, but we always referred back to those games. You guys remember when we went up to Bellevue and we ran for 160 yards? Or do you remember when we did this? And so you could do that. So I think there are going to be some things, they're going to go back and say, look, Orem's the best team in 5A, and we marched down the field and scored on them. So
as now Oliver Bills has it to the 40. He's got plenty of room with a blocker. Now he gets over 30 and he's upended. I believe Mason Snow was on that tackle there, but a lot of room to operate.
Great play call right there. They had blitz coming. It's almost like they knew it was coming. Timed it up right. Offensive line did their job, got downfield, made some blocks. Good job of executing that screen that time by the Orem Tigers.
Now here's first down throw to Kawe Akana. Hurdles the guy, and then he's still not down, and he goes to the outside to the 5, and he goes into the end zone. Touchdown.
Oh, what a play.
What you thought he was down a couple of times, there is a flag on the play.
Oh, wow.
Clear into the backfield.
And he put that in a really tight window. There was a DB and a linebacker right there. I thought it was going to get tipped. Kind of makes a nice catch.
I thought he was brought down like 3 times.
Yeah, man, it's fun to have a guy like that when you're calling plays, because you know that if you ever have him one-on-one on the outside, it's almost an automatic. Check to him and go to him.
It's kind of like playing Madden. As soon as you see a one-on-one with your number 1 wide receiver, you audible.
Yeah.
Route.
Yep.
Send him streaking.
We had a kid, DeAndre Randolph, it was an auto check. If there's no safety help over the top and it's not 3rd down, you can go to him every time.
Yeah.
Then he had 1,500 yards receiving that year.
The first down, Kava. Got a man, that is Isanaliai.
Oh, yeah.
He gets tackled pushed out of bounds at about the 19-yard line. So good play there.
just when you get done talking about one super athlete, they get the ball to another one of their super athletes. And that was just a simple little play action. Comes across behind the line, dumps it off to him in the flat, let him see that play in the NFL all the time. It's just such a tough play to cover for a defense.
I'm sure Kyle Whittingham's excited to have Isanaliai in his defensive backfield next year. As the handoff, got to Naliai, and he's just patient.
Little GT counter that time. They pulled right guard, right tackle. But the DN followed him down the line, pinched down, did a nice job, made a stop in the forces a third down.
So third down here.
I expect if they don't get it here, they'll probably go for it again. They already showed that they're willing to go for it on fourth down.
Down to Kawe Akana, but it was called back on a holding call, which it looked like Kawe Akana took probably 4 or 5 times where we thought he was going to be taken down, and he wasn't.
And they've got him man cover up on the top giving him the outside. He might just throw it to the corner.
Yeah, he's got one-on-one, and that's where he goes. Back shoulder throw, caught, touchdown, Orem. As you called it, Coach, Kawe Akana, one-on-one, gets in the end zone for 6.
Yeah, I mean, when you know your guy is the best athlete, it's pretty tough for a defense to cover down at the goal line. Anytime you're inside the 20-yard line and you've got him one-on-one, go to him because he's going to make a play. Really nice throw, a little back shoulder there.
Kawe Akana last week, which was his season debut, he's been battling injuries. So playing in his first game last week against Springville, 5 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown. So in back-to-back games, finds the end zone.
6'3", 200 pounds, good hands, runs well. A good route there. He set him up, little dip step, got to the outside. Kave with a nice back shoulder throw for the touchdown.
So with 10:23 to go here in the second quarter, Orem with a 28-3 lead. We'll be right back here on the Rewind Sports Network. Back here at Spanish Fork High School, Trevor Allen and Coach Dave Harrison here with 10:23 to go here in the second quarter. Orem with a 28-3 lead after a Kawe Akana touchdown. Alabama to BYU.
Yeah, it's got a little different ring to it, doesn't it? Alabama to...
And again, I'm not as familiar with the history of football at the high school level here in the state, but I do know there was one other Alabama commit for a quarterback, and that was Cooper Bateman.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He was a Cottonwood kid, yeah?
Yeah, Cottonwood kid.
That's right.
And he went to Alabama and then transferred, and he ended up playing his last year at the University of Utah.
Yeah, I do remember. We played Cooper many years ago, and Orem, they've got guys in the NFL. I mean, they got guys that...
Puka Nacua as well.
I mean, Puka Nacua, maybe top 5 receiver in the world, played here, and it was fantastic when he played here.
Bunnell thought he was able to get around the edge, and then 3 more Orem players come up and tackle him for a loss.
Yeah, I don't know about going side to side against this defense. I think you've got to find the gaps that are already there and try and exploit that, pick up 3 or 4 yards downhill like they've done a little bit in the first quarter. But running side to side against this defense, that's a tough ask.
Lost 4 on that play. Brings up second down.
Now, you may set that up by play faking that fly sweep and then running a little quarterback counter opposite of that, but if you do that, you're going right at Tuala, so let's kind of pick your poison.
Here's Warren. He drops back.
Oh, he's got a wheel route.
Pressure. And throws it as he's being taken down. Obviously short, but there's a flag on the play.
Flag on the play.
And I'm guessing it's roughing the passer.
Yeah, they ran a little rub route up on the top, and the wheel route was open. He just doesn't have time to find that. I mean, if you take 3 steps and set your feet and there's somebody right in your face, it's really difficult to... Doesn't matter how wide open your guys are.
Yeah. So that is obviously a 15-yard penalty, so that moves it to first down and gives life to Spanish Fork.
You know, you take the yards however you can get them. especially against a defense like this.
I'm sure Coach Reynolds is not going to be happy with the amount of penalty yards they've given up. Especially with, I think that's at least three 15-yard penalties.
No, it is.
Which are huge. Here's Warren. He'll hand off. Bunnell maybe gets 2 yards, and that's where they're going to mark him.
He covered two that time from Orem. Sitting with 2 safeties back, your corners are wide. It gives you a little bit more room to run inside. Obviously, 2 or 3 yard pickup doesn't normally feel like a successful play, but I think tonight against this defense for Spanish Fork, you count that as a positive.
So 2-yard gain on first down brings up 2nd and 8.
And, you contrast the running downhill like they did there versus that first down play where they lost 7 yards trying to go fly sweep. That's where you're going to get run yards against Orem.
Here's Warren. And he'll hand off to his back. I've been trying to pick out his number. Is that James Buck?
24. So Calvin Gardner made the play there, but now we've got another flag.
Flag on the play.
No, these officials are going to get tennis elbows throwing all these flags.
So James Buck on that run. MJ Bateman called for that. Another 15-yard penalty for Orem.
I got to hand it to the Orem coaches. They're not pulling their hair out up here, screaming and yelling, but I know they're feeling it.
I think it's because they have some popcorn in front of them.
They had a 20.
I know our
5-point lead.
Dodge is going to be eating our whole bag at halftime. As Warren rolls out. And he throws out of bounds. We'll have to play another down. I know some of the coaches over on the sideline thought maybe there's a potential block in the back.
Yeah, that was close.
But they didn't throw the flag.
Yeah, it was close. I don't know.
I probably wouldn't have thrown it either. It looked like very little. It didn't really have any kind of advantage.
It was hard. It was hard to see where his face mask was in relation to the defense, the defender. So 2nd 10. And again, Orem's winning up front against any pass protection that Spanish Forks put out there. Orem's beat.
We might need to bring in another tight end, as 3 guys are right there in front of him. Well, when it's picked off, goes right into the hands of, that's number 2, Zeki Vea. And another flag. Probably going to be an unsportsmanlike penalty.
So if it happened after the change of possession, Orem will maintain possession. They'll just have to start probably about their own 45.
Four unsportsmanlike conduct penalties is what we just heard.
Wow.
That's tough. I mean, obviously, what do you do? What do you tell your team when you're up 28-3 in the second quarter and you've got 4 15-yard penalties?
You want your kids to learn how to not only lose with class, but win with class. Win in a way that shows respect to your opponent. And sometimes these kids just lose their head a little bit.
Kava goes up into the pocket, and a flag is thrown, but he's taken down at the line of scrimmage. Holding? It was thrown from the judge in the back.
We might be going on some sort of a consecutive plays with a flag record. Oh, look at that.
Probably just muscle memory.
Yeah. You figured there was something going on.
Hey, I heard from a credible source last week, the Rigby, Idaho, Syracuse game, there was like 12 straight penalties.
Oh, really?
From what I heard.
Yeah, we had some interesting officiating a few games we played up there in Idaho.
Well, it's actually down here at Syracuse.
Oh, well.
So it was a Utah crew. As it goes out to the flat on a screen, it's number 10, Po Faumui. The sophomore, I believe. Yes, the sophomore. Po Faumui, the first time.
Oliver Bills with a nice block out there. You know, I love those kind of plays where you see the corners are dropping and dropping. Just throw it out there, take 5 or 6 yards. They're giving it to you. Good offensive coordinators see that and will take it.
4 on the defensive line for Spanish Fork. And they send 4. Here on third down, and the first down there for Oliver Bills, as there's another flag. So at least we took a play off, even though they were like, oh, there's no flag on the play.
I like that play call there. You got 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. Spanish Fork's at a cover 2 man all the way across the board, which means you've got fewer guys in the run box. Spanish Fork obviously thought Orem was going to throw the ball there. Good play call. Unfortunately, coming back for the Tigers.
Yep. I'd be curious to know how many penalties Orem has, because it looked like it was going to be a night for Spanish Fork where they're committing a lot of penalties on that first drive.
No, they're against Spanish Fork right off the bat, but I think there's been about, it feels like 32 or so.
We'll have to get that number at halftime.
Yeah.
The penalties and yards. 6:50 to go here in the second quarter. It's now 3rd and 14.
We're going to bring some pressure.
Kava throws. He's got Kai Wesley to the 30, and he's tripped up. A touchdown saving tackle there by number 3, Rhythm Fagan. But Kai Wesley, nice run there. Pitch and catch.
Such a tough play. You play action that. You bring the linebacker out of that hole. Tight end feels it right behind him. Quarterback does a nice job delivering a strike. Seen that play before, playing Orem over the years, and they execute that really well. And no penalty.
Oh, hey. Knock on wood, coach.
I'm not holding my breath.
Brings a man in motion. Kava.
Mesh route.
Goes back on first down. Got his man. That's number 84, Steeler Wesley, the younger brother of Kai Wesley. I believe he's a sophomore. He is, but geez, he looks like a big boy.
That's an old
brother.
An old Lavelle Edwards concept right there. That mesh where you bring your 2 slots and run them about 5 yards across, and then a little dig route behind it. He just waited for him to clear that outside linebacker. He was wide open, had time to throw it. Good ball there.
So trips to the bottom of your screen. Kava pitches it to Bills. He's got room. He's at the 10. Down to the 5. Pushes through into the end zone. Touchdown, Orem. Oliver Bills finds the end zone.
Second time we've seen that speed option from Orem. Kai Wesley drove his guy 15 yards from the line of scrimmage all the way through the back of the end zone. And, you know, you get your big guys, your best guys that go out and make blocks like that. Boy, it's tough to beat a team that has everybody bought in.
Kind of made you think of the movie Blindside as Michael Orr's driving the guy clear to into the end zone and beyond.
Yeah, Kai's a big boy, too. You can't get going backwards. You're never going to get off of that block.
Here's the PAT. Ben Bradley's been busy. So far perfect on his PATs. And now the score is 35-3. 5:36 to go. We'll take a break. Come back after this here on the Rewind Sports Network. 5:36 to go here in the second quarter. There's another kickoff. That one will be brought out, but he misses the catch, and now he picks it up at the 10. Is able to salvage some yards. Not able to get back to the 20. That was number, I believe that's number 10.
11.
Cohen Frost, yep.
Boy, it looked to me like he caught it and fell, but fortunately he didn't have possession of the ball. So he was able to pick that up and salvage something there. Otherwise, they would have been started inside of their own 5-yard line.
So here's Nixon Warren again with the Spanish Fork offense. They got an extra down lineman on Junie Mawala's side of the line.
He brought a tight end on over there.
Oh, he looked like a lineman, but his number is not. Apologies there. That tight end looks like an offensive lineman.
Well, they all kind of look like defensive backs when they're next to Mawala. I mean, that's a big kid over there. Even if you double team him, he's still pushing that offensive line back.
I might have to bring in 2 tight ends just for that, but then you lose some weapons on the outside. Clock running at 4:50 to go here in the first half. They gained 1 yard on first down.
Spanish Fork's got numbers to the sideline.
Trips to the bottom of your screen. Into the flat, I believe that's Christensen. And he is stopped right in his tracks. No, that is not. That is number 4, Jackson Cloward.
Boy, that's...
Jackson Cloward with the pass.
I mean, I know why he makes that play call. He's got numbers over there. He's got more guys than they have defenders just because of the way Orem plays they're a field and boundary team, so they put the majority of their players to the field side. And so boundary, theoretically, you've got more players. But when you don't block anybody, it doesn't matter.
So 3rd down and 9. So it was no gain on that last play. Warren, he's got Cowaway Akana chasing him, Junie Mawala chasing him. And it is caught and then dropped. And it's an incomplete pass. It'll bring up 4th down. Great coverage there by Dylan Dye.
He's going to go to sleep tonight having nightmares of these kids coming after him because they are bringing pressure. And even when they don't bring pressure, their D-line's getting home. But, man, when they send a blitzer, that's tough sailing for Spanish Fork. A good job just hitting the ball out, really.
So we'll bring out the punt unit once again for Spanish Fork. As he is back at the 4-yard line. He drops it, and that's not good. And he is tackled right at the 2-yard line. So pretty much the turnover on downs at the 2.
Yeah, it looked like the snap was okay. Just, the timing on a punt is if you don't catch it and take your 2 steps and kick it immediately, you're in trouble. Great job that time by Orem Special Teams.
So if you're Orem and you have 2 yards to go
like,
on your next drive, what do you go here?
You just flip a coin and figure out which kid hasn't got a touchdown yet, give it to him. I mean, they've got their choice. They can probably just...
Well, Stonebreaker's in the backfield behind Kava. And he hasn't scored yet. And they hand it off to Stonebreaker. He'll get to the 1, and then he's stopped.
Pretty good job that time by Spanish Fork, keeping him out of the end zone. Again, yeah, I mean, he can run the same play, and it'll be a touchdown the next time, though. It's just tough to stop that big offensive line going downhill. And you kind of want to give that offensive line this kind of a touchdown. Our offensive line coach used to yell at me if we were inside the 5 and I didn't run it.
Stonebreaker once again this time goes in untouched. Touchdown, Orem.
Stonebreaker again at the carry. Touchdown.
First time for Stonebreaker tonight.
I like the last possession or so. A little bit more sportsmanship between the 2 teams. Orem kids helping up Spanish Fork kids and vice versa. So maybe we'll get some of these personal foul issues behind us.
So we've now entered Mercy Rule territory once we hit into the fourth quarter.
Actually, once we get to the second half. So as soon as we get to the second half, it'll be a running clock.
Oh, yeah, it's actually in basketball where it's fourth quarter.
Yeah.
See, sometimes I have basketball still in my mind, even though we're not there yet. PAT is once again good by Bradley, and we'll go ahead and take a break with 3:04 to go here in the second quarter.
Yeah, it'll be running clock.
3:04 to go here in the first half, and it is all Orem, 42-3. Trevor Allen, Dave Harrison here, and Dave, let's chat for a minute. Oh, looks like the coaches are out here again. Both head coaches, so we'll see what's going on here.
Dustin Smith, the head coach for Spanish Fort, has run quarterback elite and Utah quarterback clinic for years and years, and has coached some of the top quarterbacks to come out of the state of Utah.
It looks like the coaches are getting their teams together, some kind of message. Maybe it's about sportsmanship. It's hard to speculate, but they're allowing the coaches to gather up with their entire team and talk to them. But Coach, I wanted to ask you, now that we're at about the halfway point of the season, we've kind of got an idea as some teams have already had a couple of games in region play, but let's kind of go up and down, as far as 5A, 6A. As you could probably say, Corner Canyon, Lone Peak, Sky Ridge are kind of the favorites in 6A. Where'd you kind of see that? I mean, that region is a gauntlet.
Yeah, I really like Sweetwine at Sky Ridge. He's a different quarterback this year. He's getting the ball out on time, and when he doesn't have anywhere to go with it, he pulls it down. So I know Corner Canyon's ranked first, and everybody loves them, and they've got a great quarterback and a great coaching staff, and they just reload every year. But I don't think it's a runaway. I think Lone Peak, Keppa's back at quarterback. He's going to play well. And Lone Peak, they believe in themselves. They believe they know they can beat Corner Canyon because they've done it. Sky Ridge, the game I watched them play, they looked fantastic. And so I think it's those three teams. Lehigh maybe is a little step below those guys. The team that I was impressed with, at least their offensive and defensive lines, was American Fork. Mm-hmm. And I don't, not a lot of talk about American Fork, but I really liked what they did fundamentally. They looked good. They didn't make a lot of mistakes. If they can get solid quarterback play, they might have a chance to surprise one of those top three teams as well. And, at Mountain Ridge, obviously, they might be a little step below, but they surprised Lehigh and beat Lehigh.
A brand new coaching staff, and they're having to break in a new quarterback.
Yeah, but they're good coaches. Nick Robbins is a fantastic coach. He does a really good job over there. The community seems to really like those guys, and it'll take them a few years at Mountain Ridge to get things up to that level, but I've got all the confidence in the world. With all the growth they've got out there, Mountain Ridge will be a team to contend with over the next few years. I think those are the class. Those are definitely the class of 6A. And 5A, we're watching one of them right here.
And then there's two others you and I talked about off air in Fremont, who you and I saw last year, in that region championship game, which no one really expected Fremont or Farmington to be in that Region 1 title contention. And then West High School as well.
Yeah, Fremont is a great story. Nate Tuatagaloa and Ben Moa, those guys that are coaching up there, I actually coached those guys years ago. And Celeste Moa is for real. And he's the kind of player that can take over a ball game. If you don't take him out defensively, schematically, he's gonna beat some teams. Just between the quarterback and Moa, Tuatagaloa and Moa. So I like Fremont a lot. West, boy, they're solid up front. They got a great O-line, good coaches, and frankly, the best home field environment in the state of Utah. There's nowhere better to watch a football game, in my opinion, than West High School.
Yeah, and Gene Poggett Stadium is obviously, it's got a lot of history behind it. As there's a Spanish Fork player down, it's an offensive lineman. So we'll keep it here though, as we just chat some season stuff, through 5 weeks. But it's interesting because Fremont moves down a classification, moves into 5A, and instantly becomes a state title contender. Potentially, probably going to see him up at Rice Eccles, either in a semifinal, potentially a championship game.
Yeah, they've got a year under their belt so this is their second year there. The coaches of Fremont, the kids understand what's expected of them. They've gone through that off season again. They had enough success last year to be confident in what they're doing, and they work hard in the weight room. They do a good job. So Fremont's kind of I know Orem and West kind of everybody talks about, but Fremont, I really think they're going to make some noise, just like you said, probably get up to Rice Eccles. And from there, I don't really know. There's a bit of a drop. Timpview's not where they have been.
I mean, it's hard too because Timpview's coach, Donnie Atuaya, stepped down a month before the season.
Yeah.
And having to, and then, kids transferring after that as Warren rolls out. And he throws it, and it is picked off. I believe that's Isanali, and it is.
Wow, that's tough. Rolling to your right, throwing back. It was a left-handed quarterback. Just didn't quite get it over his head. Looks like we get another flag.
I'm guessing it's an unsportsmanlike. Care to guess?
I do believe that Orem has more total yards on offense that's been called back than most teams have. Just regular. I mean,
total offense on their side.
If it shows that they got 500 yards total offense, they probably had about 750 yards total, with a couple hundred getting called back. And tonight,
I'm pretty sure they're hitting the 100-yard mark for penalties already, and we're not even at halftime. 2:37 to go.
When I first started coaching at Alta with Les Hamilton back in 2007, if we had these kind of penalties, we were staying after the game and running ladders. I mean, you just can't allow those to be acceptable, even though it's not going to affect the outcome of the game at all, at least not this game. Eventually down the road, there's going to be a game that you're in that 15 yards is going to kill you.
Well, I mean, imagine in this game being what it is, but when, in a couple of weeks when Orem takes on rival Timpview, obviously it's going to be a little bit higher emotions as Steeler Wesley cuts in and out of traffic and gets up to about the 43-yard line. But if they're getting a lot of penalties now in a low tense situation, wait till they go in a couple of weeks when they play Timpview. Like right now for Orem's schedule, playing Wasatch next week at home, but then I believe they have Timpview after that.
Yeah, Timpview Orem
will be there, by the way.
Timpview Orem, we know it's a great rivalry down here in Utah County.
As Naliai breaks all the way through and he's to the 20-yard line, he is blasting through and gets down to about the 1-yard line. But my goodness, did he have some speed on that?
Hit the hole hard. Great job up front by Orem. Looked like a little trap action up front. And he hit that hole hard. And I don't know necessarily, I saw Timpview play American Fork, and American Fork handled them pretty easily. They don't have near the numbers of Timpview that they've had. But, you see last week, the Springville game, and Orem won the game, but it was a close game, and, penalties like that can make a difference.
And I actually watched Timpview. I called Timpview and Lone Peak a couple weeks ago, and I'll tell you what, Timpview, they've got a quarterback who can be really good.
Yeah.
He's only a sophomore. Tuaone. Right now, they have him listed, at least as of right now in the 2028 class, they have him listed as a 4-star.
Wow.
So,
well, and
if he play as a wide receiver as well.
And if they can get some blocking up front, Timpview, That'll bode well for them. They struggled in the game I saw. American Fork, their defensive line just dominated the Timpview O-line. But, you know, American Fork's 6A team, and they're pretty loaded up front.
Going out, Kaaba. Got a man in the end zone, and it's incomplete. I believe that's Stuart Wesley.
Boy, he had a back right at the goal line, wide open. That's who I thought he was going to give it to.
I thought he was going to catch it over his helmet.
Yeah, he almost lost him.
Just because of how tall and big he is. What Stuart Wesley listed at? That kid's got to be at least 6'2". And for a sophomore, he looks bigger. He looks as big as his brother, and he's 2 years younger than him.
Those are big kids.
The Wesley household, I'm sure, goes through a lot of groceries.
Little run right here.
Goes to Naliai, and he spins and rolls his way into the end zone for a touchdown. So spreading the love for Orem as Naliai gets a touchdown.
Hey, nice job that time. A little run blitz from the backside. Spanish Fork linebacker just unable to finish that tackle, and AI with a nice run there. Gets into the end zone. We're up to 49 if he makes this. That's a big first half.
Very big. 21 points in the first quarter, and then 28 here in the second with that PAT. So with 1:07 to go here in the second quarter, Orem with a 49-3 lead. Spanish Fork with another opportunity to try and find the end zone before halftime. As the ball is dropped.
Well, that's a pretty cool kick right there. It looked like he did that on purpose.
Yeah, dropped dead, it seemed like. Did it go out of bounds, though?
I think Spanish Fork picked it up and stepped out of bounds.
So a foot out of bounds.
Oh, yeah, so they bring it down to 40, right? Is that what he did?
Yeah, which pulled here by a Orem coach. That's smart play. Unnecessary roughness. Okay. On the receiving team this time.
Spanish Fork get a little payback.
A 15-yard penalty on Spanish Fork.
You know, that ball stopped right next to the sideline, and if the kick returner puts his left foot out of bounds and touches the ball, that ball counts as being out of bounds, and they're going to get the ball down at the 35. But the penalty negates that.
1:06 to go. They're at their own 10-yard line. Here's Warren. He'll hand off to Buck. He's tripped up, but a good first down run there. Guessing a gain of 6 or 7.
Really fantastic play there. Good job putting his foot in the dirt and getting upfield. Good job by the right side of the Spanish Fork offensive line, just blocking down. But I'm not sure if all of the starters are still in on the defensive line, but typically your starters are going to stand. Yeah, Moala's still there.
I'm guessing we won't see him in the second half.
Same play.
Again, Buck, and this time he is stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Just ran lead there. They're trying to get out of here. Let the clock run up before the half.
And it looks like they're just going to let the clock run out here on the first half.
Couple nice little runs there for Spanish Fork. I know it's the end of the half and they didn't get anything out of it, but maybe something to look forward to going into the locker room at halftime.
At the half, Orem with a 49-3 lead. We will take a break. We'll be back with second half action here in just a bit here on the Rewind Sports Network.
I'm Austin Strong, CEO of Tab Bank. As a former high school athlete in the state of Utah, I recognize how big of a role high school sports can play in developing student athletes' lives, even outside of the sports they play. For me, high school sports taught me how to work as a team, how to lead through adversity, how to share success, and how to face all challenges. While I didn't become a professional athlete, it was these skills that gave me a head start in life after my high school career was over. That's why Tab Bank is proud to sponsor KSL Sports Rewind's mission to highlight and promote student athletes and the communities in which they play. As a proud Bonneville Laker, I know the importance of the role a community plays in the success of a team, and I wanted to create a banking environment that gave our customers that Friday Night Lights feeling of community and togetherness. Our goal is to provide you a premium banking experience that will help aid you to accomplish any goal that you have in your life. We believe that whether you are a heavy favorite or the battle-tested underdog, Tab Bank can provide you a winning game plan for any of your financial needs.
Back here for third quarter action. As part of the mercy rule, the clock will not stop, except for timeouts. So we'll have a running clock as Stonebreaker is breaking every tackle and spinning out of it. Gets out of that one. He's going east to west instead of north to south. Now he's going north to south. He gets to the 50. And he's finally brought down. He probably covered about 80 yards.
That was an incredible effort right there.
And north and south.
He made at least 5 guys miss on the far sideline before he came all the way across. Yeah, really, really nice run back that time for Orem.
So, Coach, as and Trevor Allen, Dave Harrison here, if you're Coach Smith at the half, your team's down 29-3 to a really good Orem team, probably going to contend for a 5A state title. What are you telling your team at halftime?
Well, I think just trust the process, do your job. Let's go out and see if we can't get a touchdown on the board. Let's go out and play clean football. I think in his mind he's hoping nobody gets hurt, we come out of here healthy, but he's telling his kids, go out there and compete. Don't give up. You know, you find out a lot about a team when they're down 40 points.
Lucky Suga Turaga is in at quarterback, so as we all probably expected, Taden Kava's night is done.
Yeah, he had a fantastic game, really, other than maybe 1 or 2 throws early that he was a little bit behind and a little bit late. Otherwise, he played a fantastic first half.
But also a really good opportunity for Lucky. He's a sophomore.
Yeah.
Getting some varsity reps at quarterback.
Well, and you never know when you're going to need him. You know, there's years where we lose a quarterback in practice or in a game, and you'd have to come out, you know, with one of your backups, and it's nice to have them already have some game experience.
And that is number 15, Matt Christensen.
On the tackle.
Good job just to get back to the line of scrimmage. He caught the ball about 5 yards deep. Not quite as smooth with the timing in the backfield, but you got your backups in now.
Yeah, we'll see who Spanish Fork rolls out. Some of their quarterbacks. I believe Håkan Rasmussen is a freshman. I think he's the backup.
Really nice throw there, a little play action. Hit him in the seam. Once he clears that linebacker, you just put it right on him. That was a really nice throw. And, you know, same thing kind of for Orem. You're way up. You want to get your backups in there, give them some experience, see how they execute. Because, you know, you don't get real good quality reps for those second teamers in practice. They're always going against the starting team. And so this is an opportunity for these guys to shine under the lights.
Suga Turaga pump fakes, and now he holds on to it. To the 20 and down to about the 23-yard line. A good little run there by Suga Turaga.
Yeah, smart. You like to see your quarterback recognize, hey, there's nothing there, and make a quick decision, pull the ball down and run it. A lot of times they take an extra second or two trying to find somebody down the field, and that pocket collapses.
Now it's 2nd and 8 at the 17. A little bit of a broken down play, but Lucky keeps it. Gets to the 10, to the 5, and he meets a defender head on and he gets down to the 5-yard line. So a breakdown of the play, and he still turns nothing into something.
Yeah, good job there, recognizing that there was some room over on that far sideline. On that far side, they had single coverage, no safety in the middle of the field. They had 4 on 3 on this right side, so a good job. Quarterback recognized where there was some room to run, did a good job. See if they pound it in or if they try and throw it.
Handoff. That's number 7. KT Fetiliaga for Orem.
A good play call there. Again, you're running to the weak side of the defense. Good job by the offensive line. And Orem's offensive line really looks sharp tonight. You know, other than a couple of holds, and I don't know who all the unnecessary roughness or unsportsmanlike calls were against, but the Orem offensive lines look really strong tonight.
And I believe Ben Bradley's still in. He is. Kicks that one up and is good. He's perfect on the night. And I do want to remind you that tonight's game is brought to you by Tab Bank, home of the Tab Spend Rewards checking account with 3.5 annual percentage yield on your account balance and 1% cash back on eligible purchases. But great rewards are just the beginning. Convenient online and mobile banking with no hidden or complex qualification requirements, no minimum opening balance, and no account fees. It's a big deal. Member FDIC. And we'll have Coach pick the Tab Bank helmet sticker here probably in the third quarter. We'll probably pick one. But so start thinking of who you want to give your helmet sticker to for this week, Coach. There's quite a few options out there.
Yeah, there's plenty of guys to choose from. We'll take a look at it, come back to that a little bit later in the quarter. But if you're Spanish Fork now, you realize, okay, probably going to see the second team defense, JV kids. Let's go out at 0-0 offense. Let's see if we can win this quarter, win this half. Let's get some yards. Let's get in the end zone. Find anything positive that you can take from this game.
And that kick goes out of bounds, so a flag comes out. So if you're Coach Smith in Spanish Fork, are you still playing your starters?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I would. I mean, because, look, there's nothing good to take away from that first half. They really got beat up both sides of the ball. And, you know, these kids, a lot of them don't have a ton of experience. And so any game action you get, and especially on a team with only 64 kids in their entire program, these are the best reps you're going to get against competition. And so you may not be playing to come back from a 56-3 deficit, but you're still playing to get your kids some experience, some good reps against quality opponents.
And Warren does come out at quarterback. He's got Buck behind him.
Looks like Orem.
Jersey numbers, it's easy to tell he's got that cushion on his helmet.
Looks like Orem still got their starters out there on D.
Warren, it's caught.
What a play.
And beyond, that is Snow, I believe. And he is pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line. So on first down, a chunk play there for Mason Snow.
Good play call there. They've got the corner, the cover 3, who drops at the snap. They run him off with the receiver, and you just run a little bubble route there. Really nice play call there. Good execution. Really good job getting down the field. And, you know, this is against their starting defense, so that's a real positive step for Spanish Fork.
I think Junie Mawala's still in, though.
Yeah, he is. Uh-oh.
And he picks it up after it was dropped, and he's dropped. That's number 44. That is Easton Kojima.
But again, just handling the ball, man. The quarterback exchange with the center, if it's not clean, especially against a team like this defensively, yeah, you're just asking for trouble. You gotta handle that. I think that's the second snap that he hasn't handled that's cost him both times.
They also had trouble handling punts as well.
Yeah.
They had one where they got tackled right at the 2.
All right, so second and long, you're trying to get 8 or 10 yards back here.
Yeah, it looks like the starters on defense are still in for for Orem.
Yeah, they're probably going to give him one more, this series. Typically, in a game like this, we would always give our starters one series on offense, one series on defense, and then we're gonna swap everybody out, get the kids on the sideline in the game.
With 5:24 to go, we'll take the timeout with them. Back after this.
I wish we had a golf course of the week I'd go play and report on it.
5:24 to go here in the third quarter. And Spanish Fork is facing a 2nd and 20. Warren. He's got a man behind him, and he rolls out, and he just throws it away. We have to play another down.
Yeah, you had to avoid 3 defenders plus the white hat. The white hat was bailing out of there as fast as he could. And again, he takes a 1-2-3 drop, sets his feet, and then if he would get up under those tackles, there's some running room. Those DNs get up so far upfield that there's a little bit of running room there. But unless you've practiced it, unless you've got a play designed, it's tough to. It's way easier to see from up here than it is down there on the field.
Calvin Gardner, the defensive lineman, is down. We'll take a break as the trainers attend to him. Back to action here. Here's Warren on 3rd down. Oh, almost. He was going for that halfback screen, but it was almost picked off.
Good job.
4th down.
Good job by the Orem defensive line. That's the 3rd screen we've seen Spanish Fork run. The first one, they didn't complete it, and it was there. And these last 2, Orem's done a much better job defensively recognizing that and retracing their steps, the defensive line, to get back to that. Really nowhere to go for Spanish Fork on that. Looks like they're going to punt here. I have to say, for a game where, 56-3, Spanish Fork shows up. They have a ton of people in the stands tonight.
And they're all still here, too. It's like, so pretty good. Oliver Bills gets to the 15 before being brought down.
Yeah, I love the Friday nights in some of these smaller towns, Alton, Bingham, and the places where I've coached. There isn't quite the small town community, and you get that here. You get that at Springville, kind of at Maple Mountain a little bit. Payson not as much. They really haven't had much.
Spanish Fork's growing too, because they were in 4A last year, going to the state championship game, and then they move up to 5A this year with realignment.
They are right at the bottom of that 5A number.
Yeah.
So they could easily go either way, but yeah, it's a growing community. Great blocks.
I believe that's Beck Coy.
Another great job by the Orem receivers out there, getting on their block. They close the gap, get a body on those guys, and give their teammates somewhere to run. And so often you see receivers that kind of give a half effort when they're blocking. But tonight we've seen Orem's receivers do a great job in the open field making blocks.
2 wide at the top and the bottom of your screen. Sugataraga hands off. Goes behind his tackle. That's Oliver Bills. He gets to the 35, and there's a flag. And I believe they're going to get Matt Christensen with a hold.
And as a coach, you're thinking, oh man, we just lost a 10-yard gain. But that's an effort penalty. He's out there, he's working, and it looked to me like probably he got his hand outside the shoulder pad, but that's an effort penalty, and you could live with that. You'd much rather have that than a guy that just doesn't really make an effort on the blocking side of things.
At least he's trying to block on the outside.
Right.
And maybe it was just he held on too long.
And pretty good job by Spanish Fork trying to get off of there, recognizing it was going outside, and drew that penalty. So 1st and 15. And Spanish Fork's just looking for anything they can do to stop this Orem offense. And regardless of it's the first team or the second team, Orem
scored on every drive.
Yeah, they haven't punted.
2 Shown blitz. And delayed handoff to Bills, and he is tackled for a loss.
A little bit of a delayed blitz from the outside linebacker, and it was delayed just enough that he was able to recognize that draw action. Made a nice tackle in the backfield.
At that defensive lineman right there. He's got the padding on his helmet. Defensive tackle right there. That's a big boy for Spanish Fork. I'm trying to pick out the number, but again, these numbers have not been friendly for broadcasters. As it's now into the flat. It's number 24, Calvin Gardner, who was injured on the last drive. Good to see him back in.
A little better job that time by the defensive backs from Spanish Fork. I mean, they still gave up 7 or 8 yards.
Number 73 for Spanish Fork, that's Jack Parson. He's a senior, but that's a big kid. Look at him.
They've got his height at 6'5". I'm guessing he's 310.
And there's a flag down as Steeler Wesley couldn't hold that in.
Looked like a hold.
Hold that in. 1:40 to go here in the third quarter. That was a fast quarter.
As there wont to be when the clock doesn't stop. Yeah, 56 points, still in the third quarter. That's a solid outing for the offense for Orem. This feels to me like Orem's starting to come into their own. They lost a couple of tough games, the Lone Peak game.
Lost to Rocky Mountain up in Idaho,
Yep.
but they're the top team.
Yeah, in a game that they really should have probably won. Orem, at least I know they feel that way.
Well, yeah, Coach Reynolds told me. I didn't watch the game. We didn't go up and stream it, but they had a game-winning field goal missed.
Yeah.
So, which is tough. I said, no, that was not a great punt. They're yelling poison. Get out of the way.
All right. Well, we found something that Orem can work on.
Isabella, trying out his punting skills. There's still some work to do on that.
Yeah.
I think it rolled off his shin, I bet it. Whenever you're kicking a ball, it rolls off your shin and into the front of your foot. Might have done that.
Looks like his footwork was a little bit off there. He kind of skipped. And
maybe that was one of those things where he goes to coach, hey, can I punt once, please?
come on, coach. I'm an athlete. I can do this. It's not as easy. I punted one time.
I've never punted. I have a buddy who's a punter, Tom Hackett. And there's Buck, goes to the 35, into the 32. Yeah, Tom Hackett did it with, was one of the best punters in the country, and when he played at Utah. But as he always said, he's good because the offense couldn't get down the field. So you know that you have a bad offense if your punter's one of the best in the country.
Well, as a Washington Commanders fan, Tressway was their best player for many years.
Yeah.
In fact, one of my kids has a Tressway jersey.
There you go.
I don't know if it was a joke, but footwork as a punter, though, is important. Your steps have got to be right on, and I'm sure he'll get there. It was the first punt of the night for Orem.
And I believe this is Håkan Rasmussen at quarterback. I believe that's number 6. And it is. Freshman.
5'11", 185-pound freshman. Coach Smith did mention it before the game that, they're letting guys play the game.
Hold the 4s up. We'll take a break. Back with the fourth quarter after this. Fourth quarter action about to get underway here. Trevor Allen, Dave Harrison. Coach, I always hate as we get closer to the end of the regular season. We're already at the halfway point. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, you wait all those months for football to start, and then it seems like it just goes so quick.
Rasmussen gets it out, but dropped. That was number 13 on the intended receiver. That's Braden Briggs.
I like that. I mean, he kept his eyes downfield. moved around to the pocket, kind of reset his feet. He found an open receiver, just unable to complete the pass. But, you know, you like to see a freshman come in and show some leadership, show a little bit of poise.
Third and 9 for the freshman. And it looks like the second team defense is in for Orem.
Pressure coming.
Rasmussen.
Uh-oh.
Fumbled the ball, but it's jumped on by number 22. That's Shane Eggleston. Eggleston? Yes.
That's the situation there. He dropped back. He had his eyes downfield. He reset his feet. At that point, instead of just taking off, he kind of was a little unsure of what to do. And that's something that you're going to see. He's going to look at that in film. Coach Smith's going to tell him, look, pull that ball down and go. Take what you can get. Avoid losing the yards. And fortunately for Spanish Fork, they got the ball back.
It's also, you know, a freshman. He's gonna go through some of these growing pains.
Yeah, and Orem's bringing it.
And it is picked off down to the 40, to the 50. And he's gonna take it all the way. That's number 25, Giovanni Halalilo. And it's a pick six.
Yeah, that's a tough way for that series to end. The Spanish Fork did a nice job driving it down the field. And, you know, again, a freshman quarterback steps up. They brought 6 that time, Orem did. It's really a tough situation for a freshman to be able to, you know, to come in and make a play. And a really fantastic play defensively there for Orem. So now they get a defensive score, their first one of the night. They're up 62-3.
Coach, I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to take a break after this PAT. I want to come back and give out our helmet sticker. So be thinking who you want to give it to. At least I gave you a warning.
I think it's got to be Kava.
Yeah. PAT is good. So we'll be right back. We'll get Coach Harrison's his helmet sticker after this here on the Rewind Sports Network. Welcome back. We're going to hand out our helmet sticker brought to you by Tab Bank. Coach Harrison, who are you going with?
Man, Junior Mawala, he just completely disrupted the game. Defensive end for Orem, and as an offensive coordinator, that's always what you're looking at. Who is the guy that's going to make it the most difficult for the offense to play? And I thought it, you know, there's a lot of guys on the offense you could pick, but Mawala really dominated just about every snap he was in the ball game.
And we'll go ahead and give an honorable mention to Taden Kava, because that was who you originally were thinking about going with, but going against the grain a little bit. But Taden Kava was great tonight as well.
Yeah, he really did a good job spreading the ball around. He made some really nice throws, a nice back shoulder throw at the goal line. He pulled it down, picked up some yards on the ground as well. Just his leadership, you could tell that he's in control of what's going on the field. And as a coach, guys like that make you a good coach, right? You know, you get a quarterback that does what you tell him to do, and then he executes it and understands it. So yeah, I'm really impressed with him.
Here on first down, hands off, and he gets a few yards on first down. That is Eggleston again. Our coach's helmet sticker brought to you by Tab Bank, home of the Tab Spend Rewards checking account with 3.5 annual percentage yield on your account balance and 1% cash back on eligible purchases. But great rewards are just the beginning. Convenient online and mobile banking with no hidden or complex qualification requirements, no minimum opening balance, and no account fees. It's a big deal. Member FDIC.
You know, Malala reminds me a little bit of Spencer Fano.
Ooh.
Having coached against him, that's kind of who he reminded me of. A little bit of Gabe Reed up at Timpview. He was another one that kind of just dominated a game.
Top player?
Hunter Dimmick, again, going back a ways. he single-handedly beat Alta.
Snacks at Utah.
Yeah, he literally beat Alta by himself when he was at Syracuse, and we were the 1 seed in the state. We'd beat everybody, and we can't beat Hunter Dimmick because he has 9 tackles for loss. And
Hunter Dimmick is an all-time great at Utah.
But, it just goes to show you these defensive linemen that we have in the state of Utah are top-notch. And Moala is another in the line of great defensive linemen here in the state. And at Orem High School, they just seem to reload every year with bigs.
And it's starting to show because you're seeing more, I guess, powerhouse, blue blood programs here in the state of Utah that are competing out of state against some of the more quality teams around bordering states.
There's kind of a bit of tradition of that over the years. In the heyday of Bingham and Alta, we would go play St. John Bosco, or Don Bosco Prep was the number 1 ranked team in the state. They came and played us here.
West playing Mater Dei.
Yeah, right. We went down and played Crenshaw, and there's
kind of
really a long history of good football programs from Utah competing really well with nationally ranked teams.
Bishop Gorman, Liberty in Arizona this year.
Yeah. We went down and played Liberty a few years back. That's a good program.
Rasmussen, he's looking, and he's just going to keep it. Maybe he heard of what you said on that one where he was in there too long, and he just looking to run and picked up a first down.
And he did a really good job. He stayed in dual threat position where he can run or he can throw, and it kept that DB sitting back. It shows a lot of poise right there. He's picking things up as he goes. I like what I'm seeing with him.
And I've always been a believer of, even in any sport. I've seen it in basketball, I've seen it in football, I've seen it in other sports. The best way to get better at your game is to play it at a high level, which is varsity.
Yeah.
So a freshman playing varsity reps, you're not playing against number 1s on defense, but still, it's quality reps that's going to make you better.
There's a good example right there. He's got a 5-step out or a 5-yard out, and he got the ball out quick. He got it out on time, and it neutralizes that pass rush. If you can get that ball out quick, which they haven't done very well tonight, but tell you what, this freshman quarterback Rasmussen looks pretty good to me.
5:42 to go here in the game. We are in a running clock situation due to the mercy rule. Now a handoff. That's number 22. Great push up there. And that is Shane Eggleston.
Really strong downhill run. He hit the hole hard. Good job by Spanish Fork. They're still playing as hard as they can. They're into it. Down 60 with 5 minutes left, and they're still making good effort. I'm impressed with, as overmatched as they've been against this powerhouse Orem team. This is what you want to see as a coach. You want to see your kids compete until the end, regardless of the situation, and they're still in here, battling hard.
There you go, getting a push again, and just picking up a few yards and setting themselves, starting to stay on schedule as far as the chance.
Yeah, that's a good thing, and you're going to get some confidence with this, and I don't know what the starting quarterback situation will be at Spanish Fork, but boy, there's a lot to be excited about with Hawk and Rasmussen coming in and engineering a couple of good drives. He did have the pick 6, which is unfortunate, but you know what? You're a freshman, you come in, you throw a pick 6 against Orem. It's kind of going to be a funny story later in his life.
Well, Warren, who is the starter right now, as Rasmussen gets out of a tackle and then and there's a flag thrown, but Warren, a face mask on there, is a junior, but he's also listed as a wide receiver. So if you think that maybe you can get Rasmussen more reps and more comfortable, maybe you move Warren out to be another weapon on the outside. And
yeah, that's a really good point, because it looks like he's not, the situation isn't too big for him. He's not starstruck, and he doesn't have happy feet. He did a really good job there of getting out of some pressure. Wasn't able to get rid of the ball and ended up being sacked, and now it looks like the face mask. But a lot to look forward to anyway for Spanish Fork. I mean, they're not going to look back at this film and think how great it was, but there are things that they can pick out of here that they can build on.
This is a very young team, and that is what Coach Smith told me earlier in the week. He said this is the most young and inexperienced team I've ever coached, but they're getting better every week. Rasmussen evades the blitz and is able to salvage some of it. I believe he's still behind the line. Yep.
Another sack for Orem's defense, which is missed out.
When it could have been 4 or 5.
Yeah. Good pocket awareness. I'd like to see him maybe try and put one up over the top. If you get single coverage on the outside somewhere, give him a chance to get the ball into the end zone. I don't know that you're going to run anything over the middle that's going to be there because of the shell coverage you're getting. But if you got a big guy up top, maybe you go up there.
So coming up next for both of these schools, Spanish Fork is going to drop to 1-4, 0-2 in Region 7 play, but they will be on the road against Pleasant Grove next week. Pleasant Grove, new to the region, been in 6A for
forever,
10 years or so, at least, and now they're in Region 7, and then Orem will go back home and they will play Wasatch, as they will move above 500, go to 3-2, and a 2-0 start in region play.
And I would expect Orem's going to keep on winning. I mean, if Spanish Fork and Wasatch played a 1-point game last week, so comparative analysis tells you they're probably going to have an easy go. But a nice throw and catch there.
Pitch and catch on 3rd down. Gaining back some yards, but Jackson Cloward, a nice haul in there for him.
That's another thing you love to see as a quarterback coach or an offensive coordinator, is that your quarterback understands he's going to get hit and he stays in the pocket, still delivers a good ball. A lot of good things here in this 4th quarter. Looks like they're going to go for another field goal, try and get some more points on the board.
Looks a little bit better losing by 57 instead of 60.
Well, I think it comes down to, hey, we scored at least, Yeah.
But that kick is left and short, so no good. So 1:25 to go here in the game. We'll go and keep it here. So now, next week, starts getting a little more interesting because everyone pretty much is going into region play.
Yeah.
Even the regions that have lesser amount of teams, like Region 3, starting region play next week.
Yeah, this is kind of the meat of your schedule, and even though the RPI's kind of ruined the region championship, there's really nothing that you get for winning a region championship. It's still something that as coaches you make it a goal in your preseason and something you work for, and I think Orem's probably going to run away with this one. I mean, I know Tipview has always, historically been a good team, but boy, Orem looks good.
But you never know in a rivalry situation.
Yeah. And, they don't clean up their penalties. They keep teams, a little better teams going to hang around a little bit more, take advantage of those penalties. And, Orem's not going to score every time if they're giving up 15-yard unnecessary roughness or personal fouls. And so, you hope they can clean that up. Yeah, exciting. Region 3 is going to be a heck of a battle. I mean, there's some games coming up in that region that are going to be fun to see.
I believe we already start next week with Warner Canyon and Lone Peak, I think, are playing each other next week. So good way to start off your region with the top 2 teams in the region.
Yeah.
Well, that will do it. Coach, any final thoughts?
Just, I like Orem. I love the talent they've got on the field there. I think they've got to clean up some of these penalties, some of this discipline. And for Spanish Fork, Coach Smith, he knew coming into this there was a little bit of a mismatch, and it might not be as competitive as he would like it to be, but some good things to come out of this for them, and mostly that I think they came out of this healthy, and they've got some things that they can build on.
Well, that'll do it. Final score: Orem 63, Spanish Fork 3. For Josh Dodge on camera, for Dave Harrison, I'm Trevor Brown. We'll talk to you next week for high school football on the